Good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. I'm Paul Clark. Welcome to my studio. So what have I got for you lovely lot today? Well, we're going to have a go at painting this lovely little abandoned croft. Now this is definitely one where I've gone fairly heavy with the pencil work, and I'm quite happy for it to show through in the finished painting. But of course it's one that you can paint in the more conventional way if you like. So come and join me and we'll paint this step by step together. Here's the photo reference that today's tutorial is based upon, and I got this from Pixabay. Today's materials: my paper is some Bockingford rough. It's £200, nice and thick so won't need stretching, but as always any decent watercolour paper will do. My colours today, and there's quite a few of them. I've got some yellow ochre, alizarin crimson, scarlet lake, burnt sienna and burnt umber, some French ultramarine blue, sap green, Payne's grey, some nice granulating Mars black, and just 3 brushes from my range, a 3/4 inch flat, number 12 and number 6 round. And here's the pencil sketch, which as always is free to download from my website, link in the description below. So what I'm doing this week is making the pencil work play quite an important role in the finished painting, almost like a line and wash. So I'm using a 4B pencil and drawing quite a solid line, as I'm quite happy for the pencil to show through once complete. And I'm really trying to give the whole image a nice loose, sketchy feel. Even a bit of cross-hatching for some shading I think will work. Off we go, and with my flat brush I'm just dabbing in some clean water here and there, and then dropping in some nice light yellow ochre. And while it's still wet, dropping in a little Payne's grey for those moody clouds. A little splatting in just for the fun of it. And then bringing the wash down below these hills. Chuck in a little more Payne's grey into the wet. So while I've still got the Payne's grey on my brush, let's paint in a few more areas. Big, broad, brave brush strokes. Gosh, a lot of B's in that sentence. And I'm mixing in here some Mars black, which not only is a slightly warmer neutral, but it's also got some lovely granulation to it. Perfect for rocks. A little splatting, of course. And then I'm taking some ordinary table salt and pinching between my finger and thumb and lightly sprinkling into the wet wash. Just individual granules, not great big clumps of it. Now for these distant hills I wanted a slight purplish colour, so I've mixed in a little alizarin crimson into the Payne's grey. No detail needed in these distant hills, just a nice simple flat wash. Now for the Croft itself, and I'm using a nice watery mix of Mars Black with some yellow ochre. But I'm also adding in a touch of burnt umber here and there. I think I've also picked up on my brush some of that purpley mix that I used in the hills. A darker, stronger value under the roofline here. Now those rocks have dried, I'm coming back in with a shadow side with a mix of Mars Black and burnt umber and getting some nice texture with some dry brush. Splatting is also great for rock texture. Now for some definition and detail, and I'm still using my number 12 brush for this and some Mars Black. Trying to keep those brush strokes loose and free flowing. One stroke if you can. Now for the shadow side of the Croft, and I'm using that same browny black mix and just giving it a second hit. Here a bit of dry brush to get that old painted texture on the wall here. And here again with my number 12 brush, just putting in the odd stone and brick here and there. So now we need to let this totally dry, so it's a perfect time for a short break, and as I'm on a dry January, it's just a nice cup of builder's tea. Next for these meadows, now I'm not looking for a bright vibrant green, but something more warmer and earthy. So I'm not using my normal mix of cobalt blue and cadmium yellow, but I'm just simply using some sap green and adding in some burnt sienna. Definitely not looking for a manicured lawn feel here. And I love those little white flecks of unpainted areas where you use a quick brush stroke. It just adds that little bit of life and sparkle. Same colour, but I've added in some French ultramarine blue to get these darker values. Now for these brick chimneys, I'm keeping with my number 12 brush and just using some burnt sienna. Next for the slate roof, and I'm using a very watery Mars Black. And while it's still wet, I'm just dropping in a little touch of burnt sienna, which could represent some rust on the roof or some lichen, lichen. You say tomato, I say tomato. And now my chimneys are dry, I'm painting in the shadow side with some watery burnt umber. For the little porch roof here. Now it's something I thought was really quite appealing in the original photo, is that little splash of bright red against the fairly drab feel of the picture. So I'm using a combination of the fairly warm red in the Scarlet Lake and the cooler red with the alizarin crimson. A few more little details with some burnt umber. And then painting in the rest of the grass with that same green mix of sap green and burnt sienna. Nice quick broad strokes. Then while still wet, I've dropped in some French ultramarine blue into my green mix for these darker values. Some mad splats here in the corner, and I'm going to leave that bottom right hand corner unpainted. Adds a nice little artistic nuance. Next, using that same green but adding in some French ultramarine blue to darken it, I'm taking my number 6 brush and just putting in the suggestion of some distant tree lines. Just simple blobby shapes, no details are required. Same colour here for these long grasses. I'm using my number 6 brush and just lifting it off with every stroke to get those nice fine tapered ends. Practice this on a scrap sheet of paper first if you need to, but just go as quick as you can. Some bushes up here, same dark green colour again. Now with my number 6 brush and some Mars Black, I'm putting in all those details which will bring the painting together. And again, nice quick loose strokes if you can. These beams aren't in the original photo, but I thought they added a nice touch. Little bit of dry brush here for some wall texture. Just run your brush stroke lightly across the top of the paper. And I'm just trying to give a little bit of form and shape to these rocks by putting in the shadows, and mostly underneath. Just a few random stones here in the wall, being very conscious of not overworking it. Next for the door, and you can paint this in any colour you like. I'm using some French ultramarine blue. I'm trying to get some dry brush here to give that illusion of all the paint peeling off. Here I'm just using a white soft pastel just to get some white highlights into the rocks. Next, one of my favourite techniques, just using a damp tissue just to soften some of these edges. It's almost like getting the wet in wet effect back again. There we go, all done, and this one just slightly over 2 hours. Right, so looking at it with fresh eyes the next day, I've noticed the angle of this roofline is not in perspective with the side of the Croft, which it should be. So I can fix that with a nice dark value Payne's Grey. And just a few dots for the corrugated roof. There we go, that's better. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, and you'll give it a go. It's not too complicated, and it's definitely one that you can experiment. And you know I'm going to say it, make it your own, and always try and enjoy the experience. And in the meantime, please don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already, it is free. Leave a comment, I do read every single one. Can't always reply to them all, but I do my best. And I'll see you all next week for another Watercolour Wednesday. Have a great week everyone, bye for now.